And then she down from there. I know she bad. That was a good tour today at that school, that guy. They was at North Johnston. He missed a good one, Mr. Chair. It's a good one.
Good afternoon. Today is September the 12th, 2017. I will call this board meeting in order. This meeting is live streamed today, another fulfillment of the board listening to our stakeholders, that this meeting is live streaming. So if I could ask you to silence your phones and put it on vibrate, that would be very helpful for the board meeting so we can move on with the order of business. Ms. Weckersher, I think we have a quorum. 7 board members are present today, 100% attendance, and I think it's appropriate to begin this board meeting with an invocation by Teresa Grant and the Pledge of Allegiance by Ms. Dorothy, Vice Chair Dorothy Johnston. If we could stand, please.
Please bow with me. Father, thank you so much for this day that you've given us, Lord, and for those in the community who've come out to be with us today. Father, thank you that they have an interest in our schools. Father, thank you for this beginning of a new school year and how smoothly things have gone. And Father, we just thank you for the excitement that's in the air with the teachers and administrators and students, and just ask that this excitement would be there all year through as they continue on. Father, thank you for my fellow board members. I just ask that you be with each of us today, Lord, as we make decisions, that they always be for the betterment of our schools and for the betterment of our students, Lord. They are our top priority. Father, thank you that you spared us from this storm that has hit the coast, Lord, and just ask that you be with each of those families, Lord, as they try to get through the days that they've been through, and Lord, just looking at the days ahead, and we just thank you that you spared this county and community and neighborhoods and these schools, Father, and that we would just be mindful of those that are suffering at this time. Thank you for all that you are and all that you do, Lord, and we just ask that you bless this meeting. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Let us face the flag, please, and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Dr. Eddie Price comes forward. I would like to welcome everybody today. This board meeting is your board meeting. I would like to recognize the work on our new emblem for Johnston County Public Schools with relationships, relevance, and innovation. And I appreciate Facility Services and Ms. Crystal Roberts for making sure that gets done, and it looks very good. Appreciate that. Dr. Price.
Mr. Board Chair, as indicated in Policy 1250, individuals may address the board during public comment portion of regular board meetings. Persons desiring to address the board shall do the following: sign up 48 business hours prior, limit comments to 5 minutes or less, and furnish statements or written information prior to the meeting. Today, Ms. Christine Livingston from Never Forget 9/11 Foundation wishes to address the board in public comment. I can attest that she has met the criteria outlined in Policy 1250.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me. This is the first podium I can actually see over, so that's a good way to
We had
start
to
off.
do that on purpose. And
Normally I have to stand on telephone, but
segue into that. Appreciate that.
Come on, Lee.
she's usually more vertically challenged than I am.
She, listen, you were,
Sorry. Nice to have everybody's attention. As Dr. Price said, I am Christine Livingston. I am originally from Long Island, New York. I grew up there, spent my entire life of 21 years there until my dad retired from Nassau County Police Department, serving 27 years. and several years as a special liaison with the FBI in Quantico with training. We relocated to North Carolina because he believed this is where he was supposed to be in August of '91. I then got on with Raleigh PD. Okay, so I did serve as a law enforcement officer for several years. And not to make short jokes, however, I can attest that I had major difficulties as being a police officer as well because I couldn't ever reach the gas pedal, couldn't see over the steering wheel.
You go word that out.
Sorry.
You go word that out.
So I spent 5 years as a law enforcement officer, and I mostly worked in the housing projects. That would be Halifax Court, Walnut Terrace, and Chavis Heights. And the children there nicknamed me Diva 5-0. I always had the hair done, the nails done. I had a great respect for the children living in the housing projects. I knew nothing of this sort of thing because I came from an area on Long Island and grew up in a different way of life. I had children which attended here in Johnston County. My daughter did graduate from West Johnston High School, and my son just graduated from JCC. We had to pull him out to homeschool him because he does acting and dancing, and Miss Haynes was his middle school, both my children's middle school teacher. So a couple of years after 9/11 occurred, I was working in a restaurant where there was a bunch of firemen from FDNY, and I could tell by their accent they were from Staten Island. Went over and talked to them, and I found out about an organization called Tunnels to Towers. And I'll make this quick because I see the clock going. I started working with them for a couple of years, and 2 years ago I had 5 firefighters from Cary that came up to me at an event and said, "How do you get to the big race in New York?" And that big race in New York is they actually run in the footsteps of an elite firefighter named Stephen Siller, who on 9/11 got the call. He packed up his belongings, got to the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel, strapped on 50 pounds of gear, and ran 2 miles from the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel and then another 1.5 miles to the World Trade Center, where he checked in with 11 other people. And when Tower 2 collapsed, they all perished. I lost 4 classmates total. I lost John Tipping Jr. with Ladder 4 Company, who was killed in Tower 2. His remains were found in March, so the family has some closure. Joseph Perencino, who was with a vice president for Cantor Fitzgerald, died in Tower 1, and then the 2 others perished due to the events of 9/11 from the carcinogens later on. So anyway, we started this organization because first responders and military personnel cannot afford to get up there. Another thing that I have learned. Most of them work 2 and 3 jobs. So with the organization, we sponsor up to 50 first responders and military personnel every year, and we leave next Friday, as a matter of fact, for another trip up to New York to run in that annual race. We also found out from doing local events through the area. We have been in Wake County mostly the last 2 years, and now we have been in Johnston County over the last 6 months, that children here and there have no knowledge of 9/11 at all. So I would like to be able to possibly come into the schools and speak. We do have several survivors from 9/11 who do live in the area, who do speak at my events that I do have, which we happen to have one last night at First Street Tavern in Clayton. We were raising $2,500 for a ballistics vest for the new canine dog with Clayton PD, Chase, and we did raise the money. And children there were asking us questions. They had no concept of it. So that is what we would like to do. And we also have a partnership with Wake County Canine. And we feel that having Wake County with us in Johnston County, I'm not trying to offend Johnston County. I thought he was still here. It's just that I think the children are more prone to speak with us and maybe tell us things to an outside source, if there was anything to tell. And that is pretty much it, because I'm going to run out of time in 13 seconds.
Don't worry about the time.
Okay, do you have any questions?
Are you still actively raising money for the trip to New York coming up?
Yes, we do that because our next campaign actually starts. So we're actually working on our 2018 campaign
Awesome.
right now. So we did raise all $50,000 that we needed.
Great job.
For going.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for your time. I urge Dr. Renfro to engage you and and see what we can do to get you in front of the
Okay.
children of Johnston County. And being a 20-year retired volunteer on the fire department is near and dear to my heart.
Thank you.
And
Thank you for your service.
those that serve and continue to serve, law enforcement, Mr. Johnson, and all our local firemen and first responders and police that run into harm's way to protect us. And you're right, as adults, we take that for granted. And as children, they're just not educated what we really are risking our lives to save them, and they need to be educated about history and the tragic event of 9/11 and the lives that were lost, and what servicemen do today, even with that tragedy. They do it each and every day, put their lives in harm's way to protect us, and I'm so thankful on behalf of the Board of Education. We appreciate all those that serve our county and our country in many different ways, whether it be military, fire, rescue. We appreciate it greatly. Thanks for your time.
Thank you for having me. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next on the agenda is approval of minutes, the August the 8th, 2017 regular session minutes. You've had an opportunity to review those minutes. Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Todd Sutton,
Second.
second by Ronald Johnston. Any questions of the minutes? Any changes? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Any discussion on adjustments to the agenda, starting with Ronald Johnston?
No. No.
Dr. Smith?
None, sir.
No, sir.
Vice Chair
No, sir.
Teresa?
No, sir.
No adjustments to the minutes. Entertain a motion to approve the minutes. I mean,
Motion to,
motion to approve the existing agenda.
there you go.
Second?
Second.
Second by Butler Hall. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Comments from the board member, beginning with Mr. Johnson.
Okay. Thanks for having me. Very thankful to be here and be a part of your Johnston County Board of Education. It's been a busy couple of months. I understand every school is back in session and rolling on all wheels. And like Ms. Livingston was saying, that this is the 16th anniversary of 9/11. And, you know, I just remember it when I was first-year college student on my way to English class, and just seeing that first plane hit the tower, and then you hear about the second one, you wonder what's going on. Very scary time, and you know, it's part of what motivated me to be a police officer, and certainly thankful to be where I'm at today, and just grateful to be a part of a family, because it truly is a family. And Miss Livingston could have told you, you know, you can't go anywhere in the country without having a friend as long as they wear that uniform. Mr. Wooten, you understand that? You know, member of the Fraternal Order of Police, and I'm glad to say that we raised over $6,000 for school supplies for students, which I think is tomorrow, where we're putting the backpacks together at Facility Services. Is that right? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Glad to be a part of that organization, as well as another company, Street Safe, I mentioned a couple times, and appreciate all Ms. Roberts' help. We are putting together a nationally renowned speaker, J.C. Good. She's been on, you know, CNN, Oprah, but she will be coming to speak at Johnston County Schools in November at no expense to Johnston County. It's something Street Safe is doing, and it's just going to benefit the students of Johnston County as we kick off the SAD conference in November. Again, thankful to be here. I'm glad y'all have me, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Dr. Smith?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Great day at North Johnston today. Loved the tour. It was just a class act all around. I appreciate the effort that went into that event. Also, kudos and shout out to Kenneth Bennett and his staff for their care and concern. Remember the storm we had a couple of weeks ago? People were coming through, and he, rather than dismissing children, invited the parents, the bus drivers, anyone in that proximity to come in and be safe. And he stayed with them throughout that until the storm passed. Wonderful visits to 9 schools. Kudos to HR for being fully staffed. Where is Mr.? There he is. Mr. Vetrano. Heard wonderful reports from all the schools that they are either fully staffed or have made offers for all their teaching positions, and that is just a wonderful thing. Cooper ribbon cutting was superb. Just kudos to all that staff. And also, there have been a rash of little bus incidents. Hats off to the bus coordinators and to the people in the central services who work with the buses. It's a thankless job, but they do an exceptional job. And convocation, awesome, still the talk of the town. Everywhere I go, people are still quoting Curtis and, I'm sorry, I just went brain dead. Zimmerman, I want to say Livingston, but that's her. Curtis Zimmerman, and really well done, all of those who put that together. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. Mr. Hall.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Enjoyed being at North today. This is just a special kind of place. A lot of memories there. One of them significantly happened on 9/11. The kids see it on TV, the news programs and those kinds of things, and I remember just the concern and questions they had, and what we tried to do to alleviate their fears and to reassure them. But I had a group of students come up that day and said, Mr. Hall, do you think that we could just, those that wanted to, just gather around the flagpole for prayer? And I said, most definitely we can do that. And so just a few minutes before the dismissal bell, we announced that students who would like to could meet at the flagpole, and we were going to have prayer for our country. And there were just lots of kids out there, and they did the praying, and it was just awe-inspiring. I'll never forget those kids.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. Vice Chair Johnston.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to mention Cooper. I was just thought it was fabulous, Dr. Renfro, what went on, how they celebrated their ribbon cutting ceremony, and the fellow board members were there also. It was really, really great, and I was so happy to see the community to come out, and especially former graduates of Cooper, and their rendition of a couple of songs, and it just brought tears to your eyes. And of course, you couldn't do without Dr. Eddie Price. It was very good. Good job. We appreciate that. Of course, when you kept calling Dorothy, I don't know whether they knew who you were talking about, but they did. But it was an excellent way of opening that school to get the community involved behind it, the business community as well, and the mayor, all of those. That was just outstanding, and I think it's something that they will remember forever as long as they live. Also, going back to North Johnston High School, as I was just telling some others that they had me teaching there when I worked with Cooperative Extension Service. And I had no idea that I was going to teach for a whole week, but I did. I was the guest speaker, and she used me too. She really got her money's worth. She rested. But that was the Family and Consumer Science Department. I spoke at North Johnston Middle, so that was good. I enjoyed that today. And, to bring back memories. And then, of course, the principal let me know that he's one of our own, and he's really good. I think he's done a great job with that school. I was very impressed with the grounds. The students were just so superb, and they were dressed, just really nice, and it was quiet. It wasn't, as they moved from room to room, it was not a lot of noise and, going on. It was like a high school should be, I think. It was very good, so I appreciate that. Really good. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Vice Chair Johnston. Ms. Grant.
I want to apologize for not being here last month. I had a business conference that I had to attend to, and But my daughter delivered school supplies for me for the Little Miss Archer Lodge project, and was grateful for her for doing that, so I could still be a part of things around here while I was gone. Convocation was great, as
That I
Dr.
wanted to
Smith
mention.
said. And then to do riding with Ross on the first day of school and hitting all the schools, and we were greeted by administrators all day long saying, living the dream, and that was just really cool to leave for convocation and then hear the administrators saying the same thing and the teachers saying the same thing as we did. So they are living the dream with those students right now, and that's a great feeling. Todd and I also attended the Cooper Academy ribbon cutting, and what a great turnout. And they had their own little choral group singing, and then, as Miss Dorothy said, some of the ones from, I think, maybe 1960s, is that what it was, the
Yeah.
choral group? And yeah, just what a great contrast there. 9/11, the Triple S students did a great job yesterday with the ceremony, and talking about that a lot of kids today don't even understand what happened. It was mentioned that those students either were not born yet or were toddlers, and at the time of 9/11, and they just did a great, led a great program yesterday. And Todd and I also went to Miss South Johnston, had an unveiling of her project, one of her projects, and it was a case to recognize all the former Miss South Johnstons, and there are 30 of them. She's the 30th one, and just a really neat display. If you have the opportunity to go over there and check that out, I would. The tour today was great. I love the science hall. New hall, great paint job. That was just a really neat, the science labs, just a really neat thing. That's near and dear to my heart, and greeted by the Air Force ROTC. I took Air Force ROTC when I was in high school, so I like that little branch of the service there attending to us today. But great day. Been a great month.
Thank you, Ms. Grant. Mr. Sutton,
Um,
not a whole lot left. So
No,
this will be
yeah.
real short.
Yeah, I'll be very short. Start with the convocation. I think what stood out to me was when he said everybody has a resume, but really we have a resume. Everybody can put on paper what we've done or what we've accomplished, but we all have a story, and we can all reach those kids that might be in the same situation, and they may not know our story. And hearing him coming from a broken home, so did I. And just engaging from that side, because we know a lot of students come from those types of homes, and if they understand, they may see us in this capacity, but if they understand where we came from, they do have an opportunity, they do have a chance to make something better of themselves. That really hit home to me, and great speaker. Did have the pleasure of visiting 45 schools on the first day of school. Like Ms. Teresa said, I think once every year is good for all in one day. It was a very long day, but it was a very, very rewarding day. I got a lot out of that, and I enjoyed that. The dedication at South Johnston yesterday, the 9/11 ceremony at Triple S, and I remember where I was that day. Every year I just think back on that, and it reminds us that we take a lot for granted, and something can happen at any given moment, and we just need to thank God that we have this opportunity and keeping us safe for our military and first responders, everybody that assists us in any way. Cooper Academy was, I'll sum it up as being hot in the sun that afternoon.
It was hot.
But great ceremony, great school. New paint job does a lot for that school, and they're very excited. And somebody told me yesterday that Cooper's got it going on. I said they do.
Yeah.
And last, North Johnston Day was awesome job by everybody at North Johnston, the students, ROTC, Mr. Williams. Looking forward to great things happening at North Johnston, and I think we're going in the right direction there. So I'm very excited about that, and just excited to be here and serving on this board. Thank you.
I thank all the board members. As you can see, this is a working board, and they're everywhere across this large county. I would like to reinforce that the convocation was definitely an event that we need to continue in the future. It's to fill the I go to a lot of football stadiums all over the country, and it couldn't have been any more electric than any of those arenas that I have the opportunity to officiate football in, and to see the excitement on teachers' faces to face the children that they're going to be facing this year is very encouraging, and they'll fill a lot of gaps that these children don't get at home, and they'll serve as mothers and fathers and providers and teacher and friend, and it's just so many symbols that they are to these kids that are in the classroom, and I'm thankful for that. I'm blessed to live in Johnston County. As far as the convocation, I appreciate all the sponsors that helped make that event possible. All the expense of that event was totally on donations to the public school system, and I really appreciate that. It wouldn't have happened if it hadn't been for the businesses that donated to make that happen. So they believe in what we're doing for Johnston County Schools, and I'm grateful for that. As far as the 9/11 celebration yesterday at my alma mater, Triple S High School, they always do a great job. This is the first time they've had it indoors, preparing for the rain and that we got last night. But it was a great event. We had one of the best pub speakers that we could have ever had, which was Dr. Renfro, our superintendent. And he said one thing that really, when you have a tragedy that happens, he mentioned something about the space shuttle too. I can remember where I was during the space shuttle disaster. I was at Triple S High School in the hallway talking to my dad when the space shuttle event happened, and the 9/11, I was in the top floor of 4 Oaks Bank talking to a customer when that happened. It's amazing how many years that happened long ago. You can remember exactly where you were when something like that happens, and I'm just thankful for all those that serve this country. With that being said, let's move on to advisory board appointments, and I'll start that with Todd Sutton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. North Johnston Middle School Principal Brian Johnston has a new member appointment of 3 years for Rhonda Brown Scott, term to end in June 2020. Pine Level Elementary, Mr. Alan Sasser has reappointment of members Chris Stanley, Rhonda Scott, and Deborah Avery for 3 years each, terms to end June 2019. And then Micro Elementary Principal TJ Parrish, new member appointments of 3 years each for Deborah Elliott, Lachey Mooring, and Christine Pendergraft, terms to end in June 2020.
Thank you, Mr. Sutton. We'll let that serve as your motion for approval. Ms. Grant.
Riverwood Middle Principal Jamie Stoke has 2 member appointments of 3 years each for Matt Burleson and Joanne McKay, terms to end in June 2020. And Swift Creek Middle School Principal Carrie Evans has 1 new member appointment of 3 years for Ebony Harrell, term to end in June 2020.
Ms. Grant, we'll let that serve as your second for the approval of the advisory board members. Ms. Johnson.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I have 1 for Clayton High and 1 for Cooper. So I'm going to start with Clayton High. We have a reappointment there. The Honorable Susan Dole will be continuing. And Missy Solomon, I don't know her, but I guess that's her name, Missy. Okay. Term to end in June 2020. And then Cooper, new member appointed for a 3-year term is Sean Foran, term to end also in 2020.
Thank you, Vice Chair Johnson. Mr. Hall.
Mr. Chairman, at 4 Oaks Middle, Principal Mr. Toll Avery and his advisory council was asking for the appointment of new member Stanley Johnson, his term to end in June 2020.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. Mr. Johnson.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Selma Middle School Principal Chris Germanowski is requesting the appointment of Bridget Dawes for 3 years, the term to end in June of 2020. And in Princeton Elementary, Principal Ward is seeking the reappointment of Holly Martin and Kenny Woodard. The terms would end in June of 2020, and a new member appointment of 3 years for Mr. Wayne Worley. That term would end in June of 2020.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. We have a first from Mr. Sutton, a second from Teresa Grant for advisory board appointments. Any questions? All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries 7-0. I would like to make one comment before we move on to administrative reports. I forgot in my comments to mention that the passing of Harvey Brooks in the Princeton community, who was a staple in the Princeton community, not only as a football coach and mentor to young men and women, but also in the classroom. And we're with his family. Prayers are with his family, and I consider it a great loss for the Princeton community and the school system. He served this county for a long time, and I appreciate his leadership in the community and his friendship with me personally and many other community leaders in Princeton. And we've lost a great man, so I wanted to mention that.
Okay.
Thank you. Dr. Renfro.
Mr. Wooten, I would just add to what you just offered. As I was ending my tenure at Princeton as head football coach, and Coach Brooks was coming back for another stint, I think the best way to describe Coach Brooks is that he's a legend in Johnston County, and he had such a positive impact on so many student athletes and the community. And a lot of folks have fond memories and great stories, and I was just blessed to get to know him so very well that one year, and think about all the conversations we had, and just being able to share stories as football coaches, and trying to mold and shape young men for the future, and he truly was a treasure.
Thank you, Dr. Renfro.
Mr. Chairman, at this time I would ask our board to approve consent items 6A1A through 6A1J.
You've had opportunity to go through these consent items. Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Todd Sutton,
Second.
second by Ronald Johnson. Any questions? No questions. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Dr. Price.
Nice podium we have. Good. Go ahead and get that out of the way. So that we can begin. Good afternoon, Mr. Board Chair, Madam Vice Chair, Board of Ed members, and Mr. Jim Lawrence. Today I have 6 items. 5 are information items and 1 is an action item. My first item, Exhibit 6B1, is a summary of the 2017-2018 academic data. This is an information item. The 2016-17 school year was the 5th year under the state's Ready Accountability Model. The state's Ready Accountability Model measures how well schools are doing to ensure that students are career and college ready upon high school graduation. Data was released to the State Board of Education members September 7th meeting to provide insight into school academic progress and school performance in 2016-17. An overview of Johnston County Public Schools data is presented, including overall student proficiency on end of grade and end of course assessments, academic growth, school performance grades, high school indicators, ACT performance, work key, math course rigor, and graduation rates. With respect to the school performance grades, the state assigns school grades using a 15-point grading scale, and grades are based on the school's achievement score, which 80% proficiency, and the academic growth, 20%. As we have placed more emphasis on growth beginning last year in particular than proficiency, we also calculate our school performance grades using a 20-80 formula. So proficiency would count as 20% and growth as 80%. In a few days, Ms. Roberts will release this information, our formula, our version of the school performance grades, as the state has already released theirs. In our model, 31 schools showed improvement, with 22 of them improving an entire letter grade, placing more emphasis on growth. However, 12 schools had a slight decrease, with 6 schools dropping a letter grade. So we want to make sure that the public understands that we are transparent and want to present that information, but we still feel that highlighting growth is more important than proficiency. So what this does is help us to identify the fact that we have 6 schools that we need to target some intensive professional development so that we would have all schools who would improve when we flip the formula from 80 to 20 to 20 to 80. So at this time, I'm going to ask Christy Stevenson to talk about some of the celebrations and highlights of our data. Ms. Stevenson.
Good afternoon. With the release of the state data last week, we do have a lot to celebrate here in Johnston County. Our district showed higher proficiency gains in 5/8 science, biology, and math 1 than the state rate. Additionally, our students outperformed the state overall in reading, with the most significant gains seen with our 6th grade cohort. And this cohort of students was the first cohort under Read to Achieve legislation. Our 11th grade state administration of the ACT yielded the percent of students scoring a 17 composite or better 2.4% over the state. Though our percentages of students meeting ACT subtest benchmarks were slightly lower than the state in all areas except English. On the Career Readiness Assessment, which is ACT Work Keys, 80.7% of our graduates who graduated with a CTE concentration earned a silver or better. This is 7.4% above the state average. Finally, both our 4- and 5-year cohort graduation rates are at an all-time high. The 4-year rate is at 92.2%, which is a 2.1% increase and 5.7% above the state average. The 5-year rate is at 91.8, which is a 1.2% increase and 4.3 percentage points above the state average. In terms of school performance grades and growth, 64% of our schools met or exceeded growth. And though this is a decrease from last year, when you look at the school performance grades, we have 82% of our schools earning a letter grade of C or better, which is compared to the state average of 77.5. The Department of Public Instruction deems schools as low performing if they receive a grade of D or F and they do not exceed growth. We had no schools receiving an F, but we did have 8 schools that received a letter grade of D and did not exceed growth. They are Benson Elementary, Benson Middle, Cooper Academy, Micro Elementary, North Johnston Middle, Selma Elementary, and West Smithfield Elementary. At next month's board meeting, they will provide you updated copies of their school improvement plans per general statute. Though there is a lot to celebrate, we recognize as we move towards personalization and as teachers become risk takers in teaching and learning, we may see some decreases in achievement data. But through formative measures of progress and collaboration, teaching and learning strategies and school improvement efforts can be adjusted using this type of data as a reflective tool to assist us along our school and district improvement journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Christy.
Mr. Board Chair, this is an information item.
Any questions?
You
Repeat
said,
those.
oh,
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. Go ahead.
I just wanted to ask, I got 6 of the 8
Yeah.
schools
Oh, yeah. that's-
6 of the 8 schools who are,
in the D not met.
Benson Elementary, Benson Middle, Cooper, Micro Elementary, North Johnston Middle, Selma Elementary, and West Smithfield.
Do we have a copy of those? Do we have a, yeah,
It's in your,
I thought it was in there.
Should be in here.
I'm thinking, will we have a copy of what she said?
Yes, if you need a copy of that script,
Yes.
I will provide you with that.
I need a copy of
Sure,
that,
absolutely.
of what she said. Because I
Dr.
couldn't
Price,
follow.
excuse me, lady.
No, I
I'm-
was just saying I couldn't follow that much.
When we have our board retreat in October, we might be able to go into more detail at that time. But if you'll get us the copy of what Ms. Christie shared,
I
we'll get
will.
that to the board.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
Good.
Dr. Price.
Exhibit item 6B2 is an update of Every Student Succeeds Act, or ESSA. This is an information item. The Every Student Succeeds Act is the latest reauthorization of the 1965 Elementary and Secondary Education Act, and it was approved by the U.S. Congress and signed into law in December 2015. ESSA reauthorizes the nation's national education law and long-standing commitment to equal opportunity for all students and replaces the No Child Left Behind Act of 2001. State education leaders are developing the new North Carolina Consolidated State Plan to be presented to the U.S. Department of Education in September. A summary of the changes will be presented by Christy Stevenson.
In your board packet, there should be a summary outlining all the changes. I'd just like to reference a few of the major changes that will go into effect this year. And again, the state is presenting their plan this month to the U.S. Department of Education, so it could be that our state has to go back and revise some of this. But as it stands now, the state is working really hard to try to align the federal accountability with our state accountability, continuing with the 80-20 model, with the additional academic indicator of English learner progress being measured. So this will be a measure of how are our students exiting the English Learners Program in a timely manner. Another piece that will be changed is school performance grades will continue to be reported. However, instead of just reporting the overall grade and growth, both overall and in reading and math, at the elementary and middle school level, it will also be reported by major subgroups, which includes your major ethnic groups, students with disabilities, EDS or economically disadvantaged students, as well as English language learners. A big change happening this year also is in our 8th grade math. Traditionally, students that are enrolled in Math 1 at the middle school level have to take both the Math 1 EOC as well as the 8th grade EOG as part of an attempt to eliminate that double testing. This year, students who are enrolled in Math 1 in 8th grade will only take the Math 1 assessment. They will not be required to take the 8th grade EOG. But because of this, these students, their high school accountability measure will now be Math 3. The state is also requesting a waiver for this to apply to 7th graders as well. Additionally, schools that do not meet the 95 participation rate, moving forward, ever how far below that 95% you fall, those scores will count towards non-proficiency. What happens now is the schools have to develop an action plan and notify parents of how they plan to increase participation. We did have 3 schools this year that did not meet the participation rate. That was Clayton and Cleveland High Schools with their work keys participation, and North Johnston with biology. However, I will say their participation rate was 94%, and in every case, it was one student that caused them to miss it. So they will be sending letters to parents notifying them of
So-
this.
So one student,
Yes, ma'am.
that's why it's important
It's important that
to
they
touch
all-
everybody.
Yes, ma'am.
Or you won't go anywhere.
Yes, ma'am.
That one person can hold you back.
And also, the other highlight I'd just like to make, the state is setting long-term goals. These will be 10-year goals, and they will set yearly progress targets for schools to meet. And the thing that is different about this than previously set targets was previously we had one state target that everybody had to meet, regardless of if your school was at the 50th percentile or the 30th percent proficient. Now it will be based off of each school's own baseline. So if the state target is to increase by 2% each year, if my school was at 30% proficient, then at the end of the year I would need to be at 32% proficient. If Dr. Smith's school is at 50% proficient, her target would be 52%. So we would all have the same percent increase, but the baseline would be set as to where we are starting as a school versus one state. So thank you. Do you have any questions?
Any other questions?
You're a smart lady. No, that's good.
And these all are, really supported changes, very needed changes. And in regards to the participation, just to let you know that high schools, they're out in caravan during testing, picking up kids, bringing them in, because if a student has already decided that he or she is going to fail the course, or if the student knows, regardless of the score on the exam, that he or she has passed the course, then they don't come to school. And so we have to communicate with parents, go get them to bring them in. So it's a little bit more difficult than we think when we say participation. Well, why are they not letting everyone test? It's almost like dragging some folks out of bed to get them there. So it
You
is
have to
pretty
do what
difficult.
you have to do.
Yes, ma'am. Exhibit 6B3 is a report of the Career and College Promise participation. And as a result, the textbook cost associated with this great opportunity for our students. This is an information item. Surveying surrounding districts, Johnston County Public Schools is one of the few districts who pays for both student textbooks and fees for the Career and College Promise opportunity. As you will see in the presentation, Johnston County Public Schools is spending far more on textbooks and fees than most other districts. Due to Johnston County Public Schools paying for textbooks and fees, more students participate as compared to other districts where students pay. Additionally, our district does an exemplary job of promoting participation and has a larger number of students taking advantage of the CCP opportunity. As we continue to grow the participation in CCP, we will need to consider the funding options utilized in other districts. I've asked Stephanie Leonard, Executive Director of Advanced Learning, to outline the details of this topic, but I do want to say that I really appreciate the partnership that we have with JCC. We have a room full of folks, if you guys want to raise your hand, from JCC who are here coming out to support Ms. Leonard as she makes the presentation. It's a great opportunity. I think it's one of the best things that we do, can change a community, can change the district when you make it easily available for kids to attend college, then it's obviously the outcome is positive. So it's something that we need to look at because, as you see in the presentation, it's something that's not in a line item. And we're shouldering that responsibility, and it's becoming more and more costly for us. So we need to be looking at multiple options. So I'll ask Ms. Leonard to come up at this time to talk about where we are and some possibilities.
And while Ms. Leonard's coming up, we also have Mary Daughtry here, our
Where is
board
she?
appointment for the trustee
Welcome.
here as
Thank
well.
you. Thank you.
Ms. Daughtry, thanks for coming today.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, Ms. Vice Chairman, Dr. Renfro, and distinguished members of the board. I'd like to take just a moment to introduce the team from JCC and our CCP team as well. We have Dee Dee Daughtry, who's Vice President of Instruction at JCC. Dr. Evelyn Kelly is Dean of Foundational Studies and Academic Support. Ms. Roxana McGraw is Director of Post-Secondary Transitions. And from our Johnston County Public Schools team, we have Carolyn Cockrell, who is Director of Post-Secondary Partnerships. Beretta Haynes, Director of Career and College Promise. And Becky Russell and Mary Wellens are our CCP specialists. So I hope that you see our presence today as a show of solidarity, of support. We have a really strong team, and we're excited about what this team can accomplish. We have a great partnership with JCC, and we appreciate all they do for us and for the students of Johnston County. So we will move forward with our presentation. For CCP data, right now, preliminary numbers show that Johnston County Public Schools students make up approximately 48% of JCC's current student body. That is the highest rate of participation in the state. We're very proud of that. And of the students that we have take courses, 80 to 85% of those score A, B, or C in their college level coursework, which affords them transfer credits to the university schools. The next slide is a slide showing the costs. You have 16, 17 student numbers and the cost there. So 16, 17, we had approximately 1,395 students, and the cost $255,784.16. Projected students for this year, about 2,800 students, which is a big jump, which is great for our students. But the cost goes up as well to approximately $681,280. And you will note at the bottom that this cost does not include early college, middle college, or CTLA. If you include that cost together with CCP, it's approximately $847,000. We did do a survey of districts and how they are funding their CCP program. So you will see there a sampling. We have the textbook cost and the CCP fee cost. The student fee at JCC right now is around $41.50 per student. So you see our neighbor, Wake County, the students pay for their textbooks and for their fees. So this is totally dependent on them, and that's reflected in their student numbers, which are much lower than ours. And there's just different fee structures there. We have some districts that are paying only for students that qualify for free and reduced lunch, and then other students are paying for their own books and their own fees. You'll see that Johnston and Wilson, we pay for the cost of the textbooks and the fee cost, and there are a few other places that are using CTE money to pay for a CTE academy. And the last thing there is there's funding options that we can explore. One is continuous present, as other districts are doing. The second one, pay for only the free and reduced students, and other students pay for books and fees. We can also use CTE funds. We could also limit the number of courses that we pay for, that we only pay for 2 courses, and then if students take courses beyond 2, then they incur those costs. There's all different kinds of fee structures that we can explore. This is not on there, but I will note that we are in the process of meeting with a couple of book publishers. I met with one last week to see if they can give us some competitive pricing so we can shop and get the best value for our school system. And in doing that, we had to purchase some codes for one of our English classes a few weeks ago. And by doing some shopping around, we saved about $19,000 through that shopping. So we're aggressively pursuing that to save the taxpayers of Johnston County that money. I would also like to take this opportunity to say thank you for continuing to fund this program. This affords so many students opportunities to take classes that they otherwise would not be able to.
I got a couple questions. First of all, I'd like the student parents to recognize that this is a great savings on their part if they let their student or their child participate in this. And my son was a benefactor of CCP, and it's just a great program and a great benefit for all students. But I saw where in the grid that the district pays the fees, but you had waived up there. Who pays when you say waive?
My understanding is the community college waives that fee.
Okay,
So
Okay.
that's from their end.
all right.
It's good.
Any other questions?
You gave us several options. What are your thoughts about direction?
I think we need to flesh out what the cost would be with the different options and then come back to the table with that. One of the reservations I have with not paying anything for students is that we will have a drastic reduction in numbers, and that's limiting opportunity for our students. But I think there's several things we can explore to see what's best for our students and our community.
Well, being in the university system, I can tell you that the cost of books is a slight cost compared to the cost of the course. So I was just curious what your thoughts were about students funding books. I mean, that's almost $1 million. At the rate we're growing, it'll be $1 million in another year. So I'm just curious. Thank you.
I think one of the things we could look at before placing the book fee on the students is maybe allowing them to pay for the fee, their student fee. That's $41.50 a student. That might be a good option, and then have the school system continue to pick up that fee for the free and reduced students. So that's one option.
What does it average out to be for like one class? If I was a CCP student taking one class over there, what would it cost, including books?
It's dependent on the course. Right now, what the number we use is about $280.
That's including books?
The book and the fee. So some are a little more, some are a little less, but that's the number that we use for our calculations.
And as far as what's the average they're taking over there? I noticed you said we could limit the amount of classes that we pay for, but what is the average of student taking? Is it 2, 3, 4 classes?
I would say around 2. Is that correct? Around 2.
Average
We do
2.
have some students that in their senior year, they're taking 3 classes and only 1 class on their high school campus, but the average is around 2.
I think it's a major benefit for the parents too, as far as excelling that student for college, and they're saving a lot of money. But I'd love to see what it would break down as far as, what are the options we can. I mean, you got some great options, but how it could be a benefit for both parties where we don't lose the participation from the student level.
And they still have the option to take it on campus or at the school or go to JCC, right?
Right. If there's
Okay.
20 or more students
I
that
got
sign
you.
up for a class, the
Okay.
JCC will send an instructor to the
Okay.
high school.
All right. So the magic number is 20.
Yes.
And you said that sometimes students only take one on-campus class. They still remain on the on the JCPS roster, even though they're taking the majority of their classes. Are they called dual enrolled?
They are. They must have at least one course that's on their high school campus a day. So many students may go first block, and then the rest of their day is at JCC taking classes on that campus.
So what if that course at their regular high school is an online class? We still get credit for that, is that correct?
Correct.
So they might theoretically take 3 JCC classes and 1 online public school class.
Right, but they'd have to go to school
Okay.
for one class a day.
Okay, that's what I wanted to clarify, because we've been talking about that in
Yeah.
policy committee, and I want to make sure I'm putting things in the right box.
Right, that's how it stands right now.
Who assists the students with this if they have problems? I mean, understanding what you're trying to do. Is that what your counselors do?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. They're in the schools, they're doing presentations, they're meeting with students, they're talking with them about career paths and, you know, which pathway is the most appropriate based on what they want to do with their career for their life.
And the person is at liberty to find out who those students are that's having a problem.
Yes, most students who
They're
are,
not gonna tell you if they have a problem with the, some might. I mean, it just depends on the student.
You
But
mean
you're
with the
able to
course?
flush the person out.
School counselors, yes,
who's-
ma'am.
That's what yeah,
yes, and
And the career counselors.
okay.
I mean, there are
So they're
multiple
on top
folks.
of it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I know about 10 years ago, there was a course, I think it was abbreviated ACA 111. Is that still an active course? And are they required to take that course before they start taking any college level courses there or not?
no, they are not at this time.
Are your 2-year degree students still required to take ACA 111 as part of their,
It's 122?
is it one? Oh,
CA 111.
So orientation for like college.
Okay, you need to say what you're talking about.
okay.
I think that's what it is.
But it's not required? Can they still do that? I remember you used to be able to take it over a 10 or 12-week period, or you could wrap it up in one day. Can you still take it in a one-day course? You can't?
Thanks for all y'all do, I appreciate it.
Mr. Board Chair, would you like for us, as we are entering the season, we would need to, if considering any proposals, we would need to do that so that we could advertise any type of change. Would you like for us to bring a proposal next month to the board?
Absolutely. Is that the,
Yeah,
yes, sir, thank you.
that would be great.
My third item, or fourth item, Exhibit 6B4, is a report of our recent research and grants proposals. Dr. Cherry Johnston is doing a great job of researching grant opportunities to support our various needs that are without funding. This is an information item. JCPS is forming research partnerships with major universities that will benefit students in the district. At present, these include NC State and Duke universities. Currently, researchers have submitted proposals that, if funded, would benefit the school district through professional development and personnel for small group instruction for ELL students. Another opportunity, the town of Benson and JCPS are working toward a partnership and possible joint application for a Golden Leaf grant that would establish a workforce development center and an additional track of study choice for high school students in the southern area of the county with the theme of entertainment technology. Multiple smaller grants for various projects are in progress. July-August awards include a $5,000 ad hoc grant from the borough's Welcome Fund applied toward the JCPS convocation, and a Meteor Education Tips grant for audio equipment valued at $9,000 to be used at the Innovation Academy. What we plan to do is each month, Mr. Board Chair, is to present you with the activity of our grant opportunities, what we have applied for and what we have received. This is an information item.
That would be great, because I think we just run into one this week, the grants that come up that we might not know about, so it'd be great for the board if you could share that with the board so they know what's going on as far as grants and possible dollars that can be used for those type items, so thank you.
Yes, sir. Right now, there are probably about 4 pages worth of grants that we, Dr. Cherry Johnston has completed application for, and it's usually a fall season. So we, in the next few months, will be made aware of what we
Thank you.
possibly have received.
Any other questions for that? Okay, Dr. Price.
Exhibit 6B5 is an overview of General Statute 115C 75.6, or the North Carolina Innovation School District. This is an information item. In 2016, the North Carolina General Assembly established in law an achievement school district created to improve student outcomes in low-performing schools across the state. Recently, this model has been re-envisioned with a focus on creating innovative conditions in local communities and schools where data-driven partnerships can come together with a single vision for equity and opportunity for all students. This effort, now renamed in state statute 115C 75.6 as the North Carolina Innovative School District, ISD. It will engage local communities to design and implement strategies for school improvement. Schools that have been identified by the state as recurring low-performing schools and have been approved by the State Board of Education to be operated under the Innovative School District by qualified charter or education management organizations, CMO, EMO, will work together under a contract for 5 years with performance expectations that must be met annually. At the end of the contract, the school shall be transitioned back to the control and management of the local school district unless other options are agreed upon by the local school board, the ISD superintendent, and approved by the State Board of Education. In the consideration phase, consideration for the ISD is initiated by the ISD superintendent upon an annual review of school performance data using the following criteria. Schools that earned an overall school performance score in the lowest 5% of all schools in the state in the prior school year and includes all or part of grades kindergarten through 5th grade, did not exceed growth in at least one of the prior 3 school years, did not meet growth in at least one of the prior 3 school years, did not adopt one of the established reform models in GS 115C 105.37B in the immediate school year. The reform model application must have been submitted to the DPI and have been approved by the State Board of Education in the immediate school year no later than June 30th in order to be exempt from consideration for the ISD in the coming school year. As indicated in the State Board of Education meeting September 7th, last week, Johnston County Public Schools has one school who qualifies using the mentioned criteria. As we enter the evaluation phase for the Innovative School District, Selma Middle School status will be evaluated and a selection decision will be made. As indicated in our recent press release, we are concerned that the state is not taking into consideration perception data points and the transformation steps that have been researched in the last year and now currently are in implementation stage. The school performance grades of the schools that have been identified range from 22 to 42. Selma Middle School is at 40, just within the qualifications of being eligible. In the evaluation phase, the ISD superintendent engages with the local district superintendent of a qualifying school, followed by meetings with various stakeholder groups, parents, family, community members, school principal, and school leadership teams, local school board, and county commissioners. In addition, the ISD superintendent and ISD team completes an evaluation of qualifying schools under consideration to support the final selection process. The selection phase will include the ISD superintendent making a final decision of recommended ISD schools by October 15th for the State Board of Education's final approval by December 15th. Qualified charter management organizations are evaluated for consideration in operating a selected ISD school. Final candidate partners present to the local school board and community their goals for partnering and operating the ISD school for the next 5 years. State Board of Education approval of a qualified CMO/EMO must be made between January 15th and February 15th. Local school boards of identified ISD schools have until February 1st to either adopt a resolution transferring the school to the ISD or a resolution to close the school. In the engagement phase, during this phase, the local school district and the ISD team work to establish final protocols and plans for the transfer of the school to the ISD district. In the partnership phase, the ISD, the selected and approved CMO/EMO, and the local school district collaborate towards full operation of the innovative school. This would include the identification and partnership with other local organizations, community leaders, and parents' families to ensure strong engagement in the effective opportunity or operation of the school. Innovative schools are engaged as partners for a minimum of 5 years with an option to operate an additional 3 years if student and school outcomes are improving. This is an information item.
Any questions?
I've got a question, but I better wait.
You can share your question.
I'll talk to him after.
You gonna wait?
We picked Selma Middle School was selected. Is that what he's saying?
It's not been selected. It's on the list of schools that are under consideration. If I'm not
Okay,
mistaken, it would be 5 or 6 schools that are selected from a list of, was it 27, 28?
It's been pretty difficult getting answers, Dr. Renfro. I have constantly called and texted, and to no avail, but the information that I have seen is that 5 schools would be selected of the list of 48 that they have considered as eligible. But that list is not the lowest 5% performing.
Okay.
That is those who were not exempt. So there are a number of schools in one district who are eligible, but because they completed the restart application last year,
Okay.
they were exempt from the list. So this 48 would not necessarily be the lowest 5% of performing
But
schools
that was what I was thinking
in the
with
district,
Selma Middle.
in the state.
And remember that only one school will be chosen from each district.
That's correct.
Because there will be some districts that could have multiple schools that would populate the list, but the way it's written now, you can only select one school per district.
Correct. Being that we are, if you look at school performance grades, we are very near the rim of what they have determined as qualifying. I personally feel that we should not be considered in looking at the innovation that we have put into place,
Yeah.
we have researched, and that we have put into place. No disrespect to what they have planned, but unless they're coming with some funding and partnerships that are pretty large, I'm not sure that they can do anything that we haven't already planned to implement this coming year.
Do you have an input into what? Come on.
I've been texting, and hopefully I can get some answers from Mr. Eric Hall, who's the ISD superintendent. I'd like to share some things with him that we have in place, but I haven't gotten a response.
You haven't had the opportunity to do
No,
so.
ma'am.
I hope you get that opportunity. Okay.
So if there are 48
Be good.
schools statewide, and are you saying we have 8 of that 48?
One.
No, qualified. Didn't you say
We
we
have
had?
one that's qualified. According to this general statute, so a previous presentation talked about recurring low-performing schools. And so that criteria is
8.
different. That's
Okay.
correct.
All right.
That's what we're we call those schools Tier 2, and we provide them with additional support through their collaborated plan, school improvement plan. This is completely different. So they took the net to sweep through all of the schools, and we have, it's over 2,500 schools. So even by advertisement that this is the lowest performing 5% in the state, that's not accurate. 5% of over 2,500 is certainly more than 48.
Yes.
So there's some other criteria that they're using, but the issue that I take with it is that there are exemptions given, and I'm just not sure that with the innovation that we have planned, that there's that we should not have an opportunity to enact that
Right.
and see where we are.
Mm-hmm. That would be really great if they
There hasn't
would.
been a plan delivered to us so that when the 5 schools are chosen, that we would know what the plan that they have, what it would look like.
So the North
So
Carolina.
really, you don't know very much about it. I mean,
No, ma'am, I do not.
that's all I need to know. Okay.
But the North Carolina Innovative
know
District's
anything.
only gonna consist of 5 schools.
Correct, that's correct.
Yeah.
That's what has been indicated in previous meetings.
And any of the documentation I've read, and is if so, Selma Middle is chosen, do we have any say-so whatsoever of them not going in?
I'm not sure if
doesn't
they're
know. He
in the
doesn't
phases that I read, because they sent us a press release, and I'm not sure that anywhere in that phase there is a plan for them to sit down, for us to present to them the innovation that we have planned, the changes that we have planned for the school. I'm not sure that there's a phase for that. I would hope that there would be, so that they can make certain that they can put their energy into the 5 schools who
Yeah.
maybe need the support,
Yeah.
and not include a school who possibly does not need the support,
Mm-hmm.
or at least we need to delay to see what the implementation stage is, the stage that we have for them, how successful that is.
Do they have a timeline?
Yes, ma'am, I included that in the packet of information, but for you, Ms. Johnson, because I have a similar problem, it was so small, I had to really
you.
stare
It's
at
not
it. So I'm gonna make that larger and give you a copy of the timeline.
Thank you, sir.
There's actually a superintendent of this innovative school district.
Eric Hall.
Yes.
Do
So,
you know him,
so
Pat?
that kind of sort of, that school would technically fall under his jurisdiction, or would this school remain under our jurisdiction?
Based on the press release and a previous meeting, the school would fall under his jurisdiction with some partnership, the
Yeah.
CMO partner that they have in the community.
Is that a acronym for a charter school?
They referenced a charter organization that has not been defined for us. The only communication that we have had was prior to any decision being made, any announcement, Mr. Hall called and we spoke on the phone for about 45 minutes. Other than that, we received a press release, and so that's the only communication that we've had.
When does he plan on implementing this?
The stage, right now, the decision would be made, and I think February 1st is what the plan had, the timeline had recommended. By December 15th, it would be announced, I think, and by February 1st, they would begin to roll out the conversations with the local Board of Education in how that there would be a partnership.
It would be just an informational thing for us to sit and listen.
I'm assuming, yes, ma'am.
So the partnership is probably our funds assisting them to go through with this ISD, if I'm reading correctly.
That would be correct. And I tried to reiterate, maybe in voice inflection, that if the school is improving at the end of the 5-year contract,
Yeah.
they would consider continuing to run the school.
Well, don't give it to him, okay.
It's my objective to reach out to him, once we were certain of the announcement, it's my objective to reach out to him to schedule a meeting so that we might sit and that he could educate me on the specific plans for any school chosen, just in case we were chosen, which I have
Yeah.
a variety of reasons why we should not, but if we were, I'd want to know, and I think that the state should, at this point in time, be sending out information to any of the schools on this list. They should be presenting to the local boards what it would look like.
They should
Not
be.
just a timeline, but
Yeah.
here's what we plan to do. And I'm not sure that they're ready to present that to us yet.
It sounds like I have an easier chance of getting an audience with the Pope rather than seeing this guy.
Send him an email. You need to send him a,
When Mr. Hall reached out to me, Mr. Eric Hall, not Mr. Butler Hall,
thank you.
and wanted to come in and meet
He's not related, I'm sure.
the first week of school, which was real busy because we were starting school. And, while we were out of the office that week, we scheduled a conference call so that he and Dr. Price could talk. So he was in the area visiting other districts that were being considered. So he'd made an overture during those first couple of days of school to stop by. And I told him we'd have to do something by phone, but we'd do a face-to-face later.
Oh, you gonna?
So we don't have
okay.
the opportunity to decline their invitation?
No,
Thus far in the information they've sent, no ma'am.
well, I
That's getting a
appreciate the
little
information that you
overreach,
have
in my
shared.
opinion.
Well, no, what is, Dr. Smith, it's takeover. Now,
Yeah.
they'll deny that it's takeover, and they'll say it's not takeover, but
It
it's
is.
takeover.
It is.
If you
It
take
is.
it over and say, we're gonna give it back to you in 5 years.
And hope you don't ask any questions.
You know, it's takeover.
Back to you in 5 years.
Does he want something to do? Is that what they're doing, finding things?
Dr. Price, I hope I didn't intrude, and
No, sir, I would like to add too that it's interesting that there has been a moratorium. See, there are 4 ways that a school system can address a school that needs turning around if they are deemed low performing over time. And one of those ways is restart.
Yeah.
And so we opted for that last year with 2 of our schools. And it's interesting that the state is placing a moratorium, 60-day moratorium on restart, because it'd be nice if those schools did not apply who were on this list, or schools who may be on the list next year did not apply, because that's a way to get exemption, because the district is taking upon themselves to enact some innovation, some possible changes that may result in success. And so they're placing a moratorium, so no more schools right now could apply. And the schools who applied last year who might have qualified were exempt from this. So that's just interesting that they've made that decision at this time.
Was that state board decision or legislative decision?
I'm not sure about that. I think that it was a request from Department of Public Instruction.
Sounds like a retirement outfit to me.
Somebody wrote some work to do. Somebody doesn't have anything to do.
What I can do, Mr. Board Chair, is for the next couple of months, I think this will probably be an item on the board agenda so that I can update us as we travel through. Hopefully, Mr. Halls, and I'm sure he's been very busy, but when he and I do talk in the next few days, he can give me some information so that I can better represent their efforts in the October board meeting.
Well, you need to help explain it
That
to
would be the
us.
thing to do, or
if nothing
get
else.
him here to explain it himself.
Yes, sir.
You could send out a news bulletin in case you do get up with it. Just let us know.
Said it about
I see.
pigeon. Said a pigeon.
Information item, Mr. Board Chair.
Thank you, Dr. Price.
It would be nice to have a copy of those notes too, or they,
Yes,
The way y'all go, we need a
Yes,
copy
ma'am.
of everything.
you can
Gotta give 'em
electronically
those.
send them, don't
And
waste
get
paper.
it. Okay.
They're in our board packet on our board
Oh,
agenda.
I didn't look.
I didn't see,
You click on the exhibit, it's there.
Oh, I mean, in here.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, not, it's on the
Gotcha,
gotcha. No.
iPad.
what you do?
Okay.
Migrant
I didn't see.
Education Program application.
Yes, sir. My final exhibit, Exhibit 6B6, is our Migrant Education Program application, which is an action item that requires a vote. The Migrant Education Program is a federally funded program that offers assistance to children and adolescents whose parent or guardian is a migrant agricultural worker. Services are also available for out-of-school youth ages 3 to 21. The migrant education staff works to ensure that migrant children overcome educational barriers, health-related issues, and other problems resulting from repeated moves. The 2017-18 planning allotment of $124,260 will be utilized for personnel, additional personnel expenses, alternative summer programs, recruitment expenses, instructional supplies, parent involvement and training, staff development, and transportation will be funded using carryover from 2016-17. Ana Lucia Milizotto is the Director of Federal Education Programs, develops and submits this application. The staff recommends approval of the Migrant Education Program for this coming year.
This is an action item. Entertain a motion.
Second.
Motion by Dr. Smith, second by Butler Hall. Any questions with the application? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you, Dr. Price.
Before you leave, my understanding is our migrant numbers are dropping, is that correct?
That is what I have been told, but if you wish, I will send those numbers to you. I don't want to be on record giving information that I'm not sure of, but in a conversation with Anna, I do believe that that's the case.
Yeah, I've heard
So,
the same thing.
I'll be glad
They're sending them
to,
back to Mexico.
I will send that to you electronically, and in addition, I will bring a copy of those numbers to the next board meeting.
Thank you.
Got a prize.
Thank you very much.
Right there.
Ms. Gill,
That's okay. I don't have a problem.
thank y'all for coming. Appreciate it.
Good afternoon, Chairman Wooten, Vice Chair Johnston, members of the board, Dr. Renfro, and Mr. Lawrence. I have 3 action items this afternoon and then 7 items for information. The first item is Board Exhibit 6C1, which is Proposed Policy 2001 Registered Sex Offenders. Johnston County Public Schools adheres to North Carolina General Statute 14-208.18 with details of the prohibition of sex offenders on school property. However, Johnston County Schools has not employed a policy which will provide guidance to the schools in regard to enforcement and certain exceptions, such as in the case of student sex offenders, voters, or parents. The policy provides guidance regarding any contractual personnel who provide services to our school system. Upon the recommendation of the Policy Review Committee, Policy 2001 is presented to the board for approval today.
This is action item, policy 2001, sex offenders. Entertain a
to
motion.
approve.
Motion by Vice Chair Dorothy Johnson, second by Butler Hall. Any questions? No questions. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 7-0.
The second item that I have for proposed approval today is Board Exhibit 6C2, Policy 2002 Registered Student Sex Offenders. Johnston County Public Schools adheres to General Statute 14-208.8 but does not have a specific policy in the Johnston County Public Schools Policy Manual. This policy would provide specific guidance to principals and school personnel when a student enrolls or is enrolled in the school system who is a registered sex offender. This policy details the prohibited areas for registered sex offenders and the educational services provided for student sex offenders per general statute. Upon the recommendation of the Policy Review Committee, Policy 2002 is presented to the board this afternoon for approval.
Action item for policy 2002, sex offenders. Entertain a motion by Vice Chair Johnson,
Second.
second by Butler Hall. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 7-0.
The next item is Policy 4405, Use of Educational Resources. This current policy was last amended in 2015, and it states that a student must be enrolled full-time in order to be considered as an enrolled student in our Johnston County Public Schools. This policy has been amended by the deletion of full-time and adding at least half of the school day. A half of a day in Johnston County Public Schools is defined by class periods in high school and by instructional minutes for elementary and middle school. The policy has also been amended to add that dual-enrolled students' participation in interscholastic sports and school activities is subject to applicable federal and state laws and the Johnston County Public Schools Board of Education policies and regulations. This policy provides multiple opportunities for students to access Johnston County Public Schools in several ways and formats, such as online or live streaming class, as well as those housed in the school building. Upon the recommendation of the Policy Review Committee, Policy 4405 is recommended this afternoon for approval.
Action item on policy 4405, use of educational resources. Entertain a motion.
So move.
Motion by Butler Hall,
Second. Oh, go ahead.
second by
Excuse me.
Teresa Grant. Any questions on use of educational resources? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 7-0.
The next item is for information today, Board Exhibit 6C4, Policy 3100 School Day. Policy 3100 was last amended in May of 2010. This policy has been amended to strike the language giving specific start times of no earlier than 7 o'clock a.m. and no later than 9 o'clock a.m. This amendment is considered due to the varying starting and ending times for our multiple types of schools and their service models. Upon the recommendation of the Policy Review Committee, Policy 3100 is recommended for information today.
Any questions? Okay, Ms. Gill.
The next item is Board Policy 6C5, Policy 3435, Student Promotion and Accountability. Policy 3435 was last amended in November of 2016. The policy is amended to strike the wording, in addition to student performance in the classroom, high school course credit is affected by attendance. The state no longer requires seat time attendance for course credit. Policy 3435 is recommended as information by the Policy Review Committee and the Academic Innovation Department.
Any questions on student promotion and accountability? Okay, Ms. Gill.
The next item is Board Exhibit 6C6, Policy 4100, and the accompanying Policy 4100R, Requests for Reassignment. Policy 4100 was last amended in March of 2017. The policy has been amended to add a reason for reassignment, the application to an innovative learning environment. Regulation Code 4100 has been amended to provide guidance regarding athletics and those students who are involved in our choice hubs. Upon recommendation of the Policy Review Committee, it is recommended for information today.
Any question for request for reassignment? Okay, Ms. Gill.
The next item is Board Exhibit 6C7, Policy 4110R, Attendance. This regulation to Policy 4110, referencing school attendance and eligibility of athletes, was adopted in July of 2014. This policy has been amended to strike references to attendance for eligibility, while leaving in language which clarifies the definition of a full-time student to mean 1/2 of a minimal load. Upon the recommendation of the Policy Review Committee, it's recommended to amend Regulation 4110R. It's recommended for information for you today.
Information item on 4110R, attendance. Any questions? Okay, Ms. Gill.
The next item is Board Exhibit 6C8, Policy 3140R, Transcript Enhancement. Regulation Code 3140 was last amended in December of 2016. A minor adjustment is warranted to strike one course and add available courses for the enhancement of a student transcript. Upon the recommendation of the Policy Review Committee and the Academic Innovation Department, Regulation 3140 is presented today for information.
Any questions on policy 3140R? Okay, Ms. Gill, you're doing good.
Board Exhibit 6C9, Policy 3450 and the accompanying 3450R, Graduation Requirements. Policy 3450 was last amended in February of 2016. Section 4 of the policy has been amended to strike second semester and to allow students to graduate when the courses for graduation are attained. Regulation Code 3450 has been amended to provide clear understanding to schools regarding credit recovery. Upon the recommendation of the Policy Review Committee and the Department of Academic Information, Policy 3450 is recommended for information today.
Any questions about 3450? Okay, Ms. Gill.
Board Exhibit 6C10, Policy 4200, our Code of Student Conduct. An amendment to Policy 4200 is needed to add language regarding the assignment of our students to a Choice Academy hub or other alternative environment. This revision will ensure the policy is current in the relation to the opening of our Choice Hub in several district sites. Upon the recommendation of Policy Review Committee, Policy 4200 is presented as information today.
Any questions about student code of conduct? We will all have fun next month with these action items, and I have to say this again. Thanks, Ms. Gill and the Policy Committee for your thorough review of these policies. That's a lot of work here,
It is.
and I appreciate y'all doing that. Thank you, Ms.
A
Gill.
pleasure to be with you. Thank you.
Now, they have to read it.
I entertain a 10-minute break.
So moved.
Move.
All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries 7-0.
They're gone
Pick your
now.
motions. Mr. Altrano.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, Madam Vice Chair, members of the board, Dr. Renfro. The Human Capital Team has one item for your information today. Please refer to exhibit number 61. I will also have a PowerPoint to share with you. As I shared with you last month, our team has been tremendously busy this summer, striving to recruit the most passionate and innovative individuals to work in our schools. At this point in the year, we focus a lot of time and attention on filling vacancies. However, we do have other areas of responsibility, and I like to take at least once a year to share with the board and those who are listening and will view the video today of the various responsibilities that reside in human capital. And I will not read this verbatim, but as you know, our office, we process all recommendations, whether it's certified, classified, bus drivers, substitute teachers. We ensure those applicants meet the requirements. We handle items such as workers' compensation, disability, and retirement. Also, we manage all of our thousands of volunteers that we appreciate in our schools. We work closely with the superintendent in allocating positions for our schools. We work with personnel reviews. We assist with PD, and on the finance and payroll side, we also process payroll for our approximately 5,000 employees, and then we help manage schools with their accounting procedures as well. Our team, along with members of other departments and school-based administrators, attended even more in-state and out-of-state job fairs this year as compared to last year. Before you is an alphabetized list of the universities and colleges we visited. As you can see, we traveled the state searching for the best and brightest individuals. We do continue to utilize our entrance survey, which we started last year, to gather additional data such as which university they attended and why they selected Johnston County Public Schools. This data has certainly assisted our department as we continue to seek ways to improve our recruiting efforts. Thus far, about 32% of the teachers we've hired this summer graduated from East Carolina University. High percentage. They had the highest percentage last year as well.
We may not have quality football, but we got quality teachers.
Yes, sir. Approximately 13.5% graduated from NC State and 11% UNCW. The next two highest were Meredith and Mount Olive, which made up about 4% each. We continue to recruit teachers from out-of-state areas such as New York, Michigan, Pennsylvania. We added Illinois this year based on data that we reviewed. Though it's costly and time-consuming to travel outside of North Carolina, I share with you today that we would have many more teaching vacancies than what we have today had we not taken these steps. We have nearly 32% of the teachers we hired this summer who came from out-of-state universities. Wow. 32%. So it is certainly worth our time and our money to travel outside of North Carolina. As you know, we held our annual job fair last year. We had more participants than the previous year. As a result, we issued several early contracts and hired many individuals who attended the event. Dr. Smith earlier was commenting on our current status. While we did not meet our goal of 0 vacancies, which is our goal every year, I'm pleased to share with you that the number of vacant teaching positions is certainly less than last year. At the time our team prepared this presentation, we had 26 vacancies. As of today, that number is 19 and a half. Wow. Last year at this time, when I stood before you, we had 37. The year before that, 48. Wow. So it's getting more difficult to find teachers. We are a growing school system, a fast-growing school system, adding schools, and yet this team, and some of them are behind me today, have been relentless in their pursuit of recruiting quality teachers. And so I'm pleased that the number continues to go down in spite of the many challenges that we have. And Dr. Smith, you're correct. Out of the 19 and a half, many of those are in the process. We've received recommendations and are working on trying to process those. When we review the work this summer, there was a total of 569 certified employment actions. That's compared to 518 last summer. Of those, 303 were new hires, and 266 were transfers, meaning internal position changes or school-to-school moves. For the classified, there was a total of 317. That's compared to 236 last summer. And when you compare all of these numbers to last year, you'll find that we've processed 132 more recommendations. The other thing I want to point out is with classified, that's just during the summer months. Understand that we process classified recommendations throughout the entire school year at a much higher rate than we do certified. So if you were to factor in classified numbers for the year, you would need to double that 317 total for classified. So a very busy staff that we have in the Human Capital Department. The next slide is just a visual of the types of subject areas and grade levels for our newly hired teachers. The other category includes positions such as art, music, media, counselors. In an effort to further diversify our teaching force and support programs such as dual immersion, we've continued our partnership with Participate, that's formerly known as VIF. We currently have 57 visiting international teachers, 8 more than what we had last year.
That's good.
Can they stay 5 years now? I'm seeing 5 years here.
Yes, ma'am. They have a 3-year initial license with us. Their stay is 3 years, and it can be extended 2 more years. So at nearing the end of the 3rd year, we have to write a letter requesting special permission for that to be extended.
Okay.
As you know, another goal we have is to create a workforce that mirrors our student body. While we have more work to do in this area, I can share with you that when comparing certified new hires to last year, we increased the percentage of minority teachers. Specifically, our African American percentage of new teachers increased from 8.7 last year to 10% this year. So we're making small gains.
That's good.
And that's just a visual of the new hire diversity for all staff. But again, classified, while certified maybe has slowed down, classified will continue, they'll continue to process recommendations throughout the school year.
Now, we have a person that's responsibility deals directly with the
Yes, ma'am.
diverse.
I think you have my notes, Ms. Johnson, because
I know
you are
what-
sharing exactly what I was going to say. We have 2 individuals in human capital now,
Yeah.
and they are solely focused on recruiting and retaining quality individuals,
Right.
but also to help diversify our workforce.
Mm-hmm.
So they are looking at strengthening partnerships with universities.
Okay.
We have found that we can't wait until a university contacts us to
No.
say, come to a job fair. We need to be out there communicating with them all year long. So yes, we have 2 individuals that are focused on recruiting and retaining and developing our employees, and we're excited about the possibilities that lie ahead.
Yeah, that's great. Okay.
While I will share specific teacher attrition data with you at another board meeting once the state releases the data, I'm happy to report that our rate has decreased. But that'll be a separate PowerPoint at another time. We continue to partner with many universities to offer internship opportunities and courses for licensure completion. One item I want to point out on this slide is the LATP program. We are partnering with the Central Carolina Regional Education Service Alliance and other LEAs in the regions to design courses and training for lateral entry teachers at a lower cost and in less time. So we're excited about that. We have 13 teachers participating in that program this year, and we hope that that continues to grow in future years. As I mentioned earlier, there are other areas of responsibility outside of hiring in the Human Capital Department. Just want to show some numbers to you. I will not read all of these, but you can see there's a lot of big numbers up there. For example, 333 individual licensure meetings, and those can take 30 minutes to an hour, sometimes a little bit longer, each of those meetings.
Brian, can you explain what goes on in that meeting? Like, I mean, if we get, is that somebody that's moving into the area, you have to review everything they have, or can you elaborate on that?
So there are several different types of meetings. Sometimes we have individuals who will contact our school system, and they're just interested in employment, and they are seeking answers to questions such as, would I even qualify for such a position? And so our licensure office has to review transcripts, test scores, licenses from other states, and really sit down with that person and ask questions and reference material from state board policy and licensure policies and regulations to help answer those questions. Sometimes it's getting on the phone and talking with individuals at DPI. Also, there's a new online licensure process now, and we will sit down with those individuals and walk them through the process, because that can be very time-consuming. And for some, it can be a little challenging to figure out the steps that they need to take in navigating that system.
Thank you.
Great question.
So you prefer for them to contact you or your staff so that they can go over the information with them in person?
Well, we
I've had people that
certainly,
stop me in the grocery store and ask me, I said, go online, but get your application.
correct,
And then you'll be called in.
right. I think we do a blend of both.
Both.
We try to put a lot of information on our website, and our licensure office does a great job in putting a lot of facts on our website so that we can answer those basic questions. But licensure can be very complex. And so for those difficult questions, we certainly will take time to bring someone in and meet with them individually. Now, certainly, I shared with you those large numbers earlier about how many recommendations we've had. And so, for example, when Ms. Bird or Ms. Edmondson or Ms. Withrow, when they receive a recommendation, part of the process is they will bring that information to our licensure specialist, our licensure director, and they will review all of that information to let us know whether or not we can issue them a license in that area. In essence, are they able to teach the area that the principal's wanting them to teach? Sometimes those are easy things to figure out. Sometimes they require calls to DPI to get guidance from them. Again, going through the information here, you can see Mr. Johnston's in here, another busy person in the Human Capital Department, 294 workers' compensation injuries. And Mr. Johnston can tell you that's not an easy 1, 2, 3, done in 5 minutes process. There are a lot of papers, a lot of forms, a lot of phone calls and questions that have to be answered, and very time-consuming process. Approving substitutes, processing tutors. I mentioned thousands of volunteers, and then, of course, leave agreements, many of those requiring individual meetings. If someone is going to be out of work for an extended period of time, they come to our office and meet with us, and we talk with them about the type of leave they have and what's available to them. And the last thing I just wanted to end with, that the human capital team, while there are many challenges out there, you can read about them, such as the shortage of graduates in many schools, not only in North Carolina, but universities throughout the state. We are very excited. I'm very happy to lead this group. I don't need to stand up here and take credit, because it's nothing I have done. It's these four and many others that are working right now who asked if they could remain back in their offices to continue to process information. But they do a great job, and I think the numbers certainly speak for themselves.
You addressed lateral entry partnership. Do we have a TA to teacher program?
We share a lot of information with our teacher assistants to help them with going back to school. We do partner with East Carolina. We mentioned East Carolina already, and we have many TAs who partner with them. There are a lot of online universities now, and so just because that may be convenient, we have some who are just going about that process because of the advantage of online. But we are looking at opportunities with our teacher assistants because we do have many who go back to school. And in fact, in our department, we had someone who left us just a couple of weeks ago who is now teaching out in one of our schools. So we certainly hated to lose her in our department, but it's putting another teacher out in the schools, and she went back to school, and so we're excited for her.
You may have said this, but your teaching population, how diverse is it?
So for the new hires,
I don't care what your honor is. Oh, yeah, either one.
right. Well, the information that I brought to share with you today
that's what-
was what we have worked for over the summer to try
Okay.
to diversify the workforce.
Was it
And so
successful?
going back to the slide, I think it was 8.6% last year was African American. This year it's 10%.
Yeah,
So
you said that.
small percentage.
Yeah, it's small.
But it is an
Small.
increase.
What are your goals? Are you planning on trying to, do you have a goal that is as to how many you're planning on, you would like to see be hired?
I think our goal would be to mirror our
Which,
student demographics.
definitely, yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
I like figures, the actual figure. I'll talk to you about it later.
Okay. A number instead of a
A
percentage?
number, yeah, percentage, you
Yes,
can
ma'am.
could mean anything.
Okay.
Okay.
I'd just like to commend you all and your staff for what y'all have done because definitely helps our student population having a teacher in there versus a substitute starting the year out
Definitely,
and things.
definitely.
So I commend y'all on the hard work and the extra time that y'all have put in from the human capital standpoint because it makes our jobs a lot easier when we have teachers in front of them and the vacancies are few and far between. So thank y'all for your hard work.
It makes your job easy, mine hard. Okay.
And you are the first step of getting the right person in the right seat of the
Yeah.
bus, too.
That's
And
right.
I know that's
If you don't get the
sometimes
right
a very hard
person-
task to do, but you know, y'all the first step of making sure they are a product that we want Johnston County to be in Johnston County, and you've done a great job, and it's not an easy job to do. So we acknowledge that, and we appreciate everything.
And we
that you
don't
do.
want you to just put anything.
I was
We agree. The best and the brightest.
The best and the brightest. I hate to say it like that,
I
but
was
that's
in
what
here
I mean.
yesterday morning about 10 o'clock, and one of your personnel had processed 200 volunteer applications before 10 o'clock.
Yep.
That's doing some research.
Yeah, that's
And
great.
not letting grass grow. That was amazing. Amazing.
Great group. And as I said, several of them are back in the offices working as we speak.
Yeah,
So they
yeah.
all.
It's a good
now be-
staff.
Any more questions for the human capital? Thank you, Mr. Petrano. Ms. Crystal Roberts.
I ain't gonna talk no more.
Good afternoon, Chairman Wooten, Lady Vice Chair Johnson, members of the school board, Dr. Renfro. Brian's report is a great segue to this first item, item 6E1, because our students and our staff make up our district. People are who make up our district. And our superintendent is very proud to provide an annual report every year to show how proud we are of our accomplishments and those which are achieved by our students and staff. So without further ado, we'd like for you to just take a look if you haven't already. I love it, and I think I've watched it 20 times. Even the music is perfect. So we want to thank our public information staff for this video, and if you'll take a look.
Every day, we have the ability to make a difference in each student's life. So the charge we all have each day is to be a difference maker. Help each student realize their fullest potential. Don't be a dream crusher. Help make their dreams come true. And most importantly, we all have the power to do this each and every day for each student.
Very proud of our district and all of the accomplishments every year. Want to bring your attention to our news coverage summary. As you know, every month we probably have 80 or 100 or more so impressions throughout our media of the things that are going on in the school district. And you can keep up with what's going on here by subscribing to news from our website. Dr. Renfro, as you know, has a vlog and a blog. Our teachers have podcasts and vlogs and blogs. So please, if you don't mind, subscribe so that you can stay on top of what's going on. Everything that's done is done with thoughtful reflection, but we're moving at the speed of light. So we want you to keep up. We do want you to keep up. So that's our news coverage summary. Item 6E3 is your save the date. And so if you will save the date for the upcoming events, including this Thursday's Advisory Council training that we provide every year to our new and returning Advisory Council members. And so you have, and we also, our superintendent meets with our mayors and our police chiefs just to keep them abreast of what is going on with the school system. So we're working very hard to invite engagement and to make sure that people stay on top of the Johnston County Public Schools. And Mr. Wooten?
Yes, the Johnston County Planning Board does a great job of approving the continued growth of Johnston County and I say subdivisions. And one thing I did recognize in the last planning board meeting is in a lot of areas they're outgrowing their infrastructure, which is sewer capacity and those type things. So it might slow down growth, but you know, every new subdivision that goes up or gets approved is more new students that have to go to the school. So we all need to stay abreast of the growth of the county and the subdivisions, and we got continued needs of building schools to make sure that we keep the teacher and student ratio down as much as possible for learning. So, but yeah, it's a lot going on in the county. A lot of people want to live here because of our school system, and hopefully we can grow with the subdivisions. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We'll wait just a moment because we now have our young people who are here to be recognized for their character ed. We're missing one more.
This is our favorite part of
This is
the
our
board
favorite
meeting, so parents, feel free to, this is your Johnston County Public School Board meeting, so you're free to get out of your chairs and come behind the board members and take all the pictures you like to take of your child. So I know it's important to you, and we want you to please come behind us and take whatever pictures you see fit. So welcome to the board meeting.
And go online and you can see this till they're my age.
28, long time.
I'd like to reiterate that you're welcome to stand around your student and show your support. Parents, take pictures, all that you want. And we will start with our honoree from McGee's Crossroad Middle School. Principal is Lisa Johnson Cowart, and our student, who is in the 8th grade, and if she will join me, is Anaya Cox. Her parents are David and Ty Cox. Join me. So here's a little bit about Anaya. Anaya stands out as a student who exemplifies the character trait of respect. First, Anaya has been respectful of the learning that takes place in the classroom. She has participated and assisted others during this time. Secondly, Anaya has been respectful of her peers. We have witnessed her assisting other students in the classroom and being respectful during group activities as well. Thirdly, Anaya has been respectful of her teachers in the classroom. Also, she's been respectful of learning by participating and listening when others have been called on to participate. In closing, it is without reservation that we nominate Anaya Cox for the character trait of respect. Congratulations, Anaya.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. And then I have something for you when you're done.
Sweet. Good job.
Thank
Good job.
you.
I love your name.
I love that smile. Good gracious. Congratulations. Great job. You keep the good work.
I will. Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you today. You brighten my day with that
Just
smile.
bubbly.
Yeah.
Just bright, isn't she? That's such a good clothes.
Your peers.
Beautiful smile.
Thank you.
Naya, on behalf of our Board of Education and your superintendent, Dr. Lynn, I would like to present you with a small token of our appreciation for your good care. Our second student is from Meadow School. The principal is Sonia Grice, and the student's name is Hannah Beasley. She's an 8th grade student. Her parents are Scott and Suzanne Beasley. And I'll tell you a little bit about Hannah. All right. Hannah Beasley. The purpose of respect is to show you understand the importance of a person or place and identify how you should act in that environment. It is my privilege to share with you a young lady who demonstrates on a daily basis uncommon respect. Hannah Beasley exemplifies and creates a culture of respect in all of her relationships. Her willingness to show respect has gained her access to have influence in the areas of peer mentoring, student government, her community, and sports. Her winsome personality is noticed by her friends, teachers, and administration at Meadow School, and she possesses a character trait that will serve her well and create a future with great expectation. Ladies and gentlemen, Hannah Beasley.
Yeah. What sports you play? You play them all.
Awesome.
Good girl. Tell him all about it. Congratulations.
Keep that pretty smile, too.
Thank you for all you do. It's greatly appreciated.
Congratulations, great job. Thank you.
Why is nice? Why is
You're not the first one that's ever done that.
From our Board of Education and your superintendent, just a small token of our appreciation. Thank you so much for so
Oh, I like those.
Our third student is from Micro Elementary School. The principal is T.J. Parrish. She is a fifth grade student, Sit Lolly Cuevas Mendez, and the parents are Martha Mendez and David Cuevas. Join me. Sit Lolly, what a pretty name. Let me tell you a little bit about her. She shows that she understands that all people have value as human beings through her respectfulness to everyone. She always has a smile on her face and always raises her hand to speak in class. She allows others to have a turn and includes people that are often overlooked in activities. Lolly also uses her manners when she addresses her peers and adults whom she encounters. Sit Lolly is a true example of a student who shows respect to others. Congratulations.
Great job. Congratulations. Keep the good work.
Yeah, too.
I like this braided.
If you need anything, Mr. Parrish straight, you let me know.
Congratulations, good job.
Sit Lolly, please accept this small token as our appreciative gift to you for showing good character at your school. Congratulations. Next student hails from North Johnston High School. The principal is Ben Williams, and this student is a senior, a 12th grade student named Brandon Bass. His parents are Shane and Lisa Bass. You're a senior, you probably don't want me to hug you. Brandon is one of the most respectful students, see, because he's still hugging me. One of the most respectful students at North Johnston High to interact with. He is quick with a yes ma'am or a no sir, showcasing his southern manners. Brandon has a genuine smile for peers and teachers. He's never been heard to say a negative comment about anyone, and his sense of humor is respectful of all people. He's a high-achieving academician, but when he needs assistance, he always asks politely and wants to do what is right. He's also respectful of those less fortunate than he. He serves in the Stop Hunger Now campaign at a local church this spring, and he certainly exemplifies the character trait of respect. Congratulations, Brandon.
Congratulations, and you'll go along. Keep up the good work.
Proud of you.
Now, Brandon, did you have that speech prepared?
Congratulations. We need more just like
please accept this small token. And I don't think I've shared with you that these are certificates that are signed by our superintendent and our board chair. We're very proud of you. Thank you very much. Our next student comes from Pine Level Elementary School. The principal is Alan Sasser, and the 5th grade student is Addison Dean. Parents are Jason and Christy Dean. Now, let's make sure, because there's actually, is it Addison or Aiden? It is Addison. So Addison is a very respectful student and a role model for others. She is very polite and helpful not only to teachers, but also to her peers, wanting everyone around her to succeed. Day in and day out, she assists her height-challenged teacher to get items from the top shelf without making fun of her teacher's challenges. Any teacher would be fortunate to have her in class. In fact, every teacher would want a classroom full of Addisons.
Good job. Good job. Great job. Keep the good work, okay?
Thank you for what you do every day.
Congratulations. Being such a good role model.
Addison, congratulations. We are very proud of you. Please accept this as a small token of our appreciation. Our next recognition is a career and technical education recognition. And I'd like to ask our CDCs and our Caterpillar representatives
they're
to join
outside.
me. Are they still outside?
Yeah, I think they need to come in.
Darn a peeping in. Peeping in. Let them folks in. Yeah, that's Caterpillar there.
Thank you.
I remember them.
Golly.
My goodness, this is wonderful. Well, she got some North Johnston for
So
us.
let me give you a little background about who you're seeing and why. Johnston County Public Schools formed a partnership with Caterpillar of Clayton several years ago to start a pre-apprentice work-based learning opportunity for our students. This program became a registered apprenticeship and pre-apprenticeship program recognized by Governor McCrory in 2014, and it's the only pre-apprentice program Caterpillar offers to high school students in the nation. Wow. This partnership is very special to our students and would not be possible without CAT and the career development coordinators in our high schools. For their hard work, CAT would like to thank and recognize each of them during this board meeting. So I'd like to invite Melissa Ridenauer and Vic Balewis, just like it's spelled, to join me at the podium, and if you'll share a few words about the program.
Good afternoon. I'd like to thank the board for the opportunity to come before you and present this sign of appreciation and recognition for the career development counselors that we work with each of the Johnston County schools. It would not be possible without the coordinated efforts of our company as well as the career development counselors to make this happen. And it has been an outstanding program for the last 4 years. We've had 37 different students go through the program, and we have hired 21 of those 37.
Wow.
So a very outstanding result. When we started the program, we were looking at the benefits that we would be able to offer the community and the students, but I'll be honest and tell you that Caterpillar is receiving just as big of a value of having this program inside of our four walls. The impact that the students are making on the lives of our workers is just undeniable when you get to hear the actual employees talk about the students that are working in their area. So again, it just would not have been possible without the partnership that we have with the county schools, as well as Johnston Community College. And again, we just wanted to take this opportunity to show some appreciation to the CDCs.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very much, and we'd like to just recognize our CDCs, and I know that Mary Hunter, I saw her walk in, and Stephanie is here with us, but I'd like to just call their names so that you know who they are, and if you'll join me around the podium, because they want to see you front and center, if you don't mind.
Want to shake their
So,
hands, too.
yes, and would like to shake your hands. So, and please pardon me if I mispronounce your name. Jacana Bailey, okay, and if you'll just start around with Mr. Johnson. Chad Culver from Cleveland. And Jacana is from Clayton High. Stephanie Grimes, Corinth Holders. Yeah. Lola Rivers, just saw you. Good to see you again, North Johnston.
Thank you so much
Catherine
for what you do.
Farrier,
We appreciate
Princeton.
you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you so much for what you do. We appreciate you.
Angela
See you again.
Triple S High School.
What you do?
I have you embedded in my head after a while.
Amy
Great
Cox
job.
from South Johnston High
Thank you for
School.
doing what you do.
Debbie Burns,
What you do?
West
Good to see you
Johnston.
again. Hey,
What you do.
thank you so
Great
much for
job.
what you do.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for all you
Thank you
do.
so much for what you do.
Thank you for all you do.
Thank you so much for what you do for us.
Appreciate everything that you do. Thank you very much.
Thank you for what you do. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you so much for what you do.
Thank you for what you do.
Could we shake Caterpillar's hand, too?
Yes, y'all come on through too.
If you, if he stand by and like, thank you so much for what you do for us.
Appreciate the partnership.
Thank you. I've been you from the right side.
Appreciate
Thank
everything
you.
do. Thank you.
Great job.
Appreciate what you do for our students. Thank you so much.
Thank you for what you do for us.
Good looking group.
Ladies and gentlemen, many times you may not see the faces behind the names of the employees whose work advances our commitment to teaching and learning until a report is made or a crisis is being handled. So far be it from us to shift away from the norm. We want you to be constantly aware that the motor in the JCPS machine is run by superhuman beings. And this is more than just a play on words, it's the truth. They are good people, and they willingly, the opposite of unwillingly, go above and beyond to get the job done. So that's my definition of super. Attitude determines altitude, and JCPS is flying high with coworkers, these coworkers in our midst. So it has become our practice to bring forth to you the people behind the scenes throughout the district, and we want to start with a group of folks from facility services, our foremen, who are representing that department. So if they would step forward, step in, they've been here for a little while, probably fixing stuff while they were waiting, because they're very busy.
Need to be trained.
Keep on coming around. Keep on coming around.
Oh, that's the little fella that's the head of the CTE
Looking good.
program. I remember you.
How y'all? See ya.
How y'all doing?
To this attention, but we're going to give it to them anyway.
We're going to give
okay?
it all to him.
Now, I'm going to let Dolores wrap this up, but what I want to share with you is that our Johnston County Public Schools Facility Services Department maintains and has diligently prepared our 46 school sites for its students and staff who have brought the halls to life since August 28th or August, actually, year-round schools began earlier than that. Numerous times have we heard the comment, "Look at those floors," or "What a beautiful school," as visitors have roamed the halls or driven past schools. Each Johnston County Public Schools building is cared for in painstaking detail, whether new or listed in the historical archives. It's fairly easy to see that our facility services professionals take their roles seriously. They understand what's at stake when they perform their duties. Safety and cleanliness give teaching and learning a green light, removing barriers to an environment conducive to success. And so we just want you to see the men and women behind the clean, safe schools that provide that environment for our students and teachers to excel. And if you'll just give them a round of applause, and then Dolores will share.
It is a pleasure to work with each and all of you gentlemen and ladies. We have created a tremendous team, and I can't tell you what an absolute honor it is to work alongside you every day. These are the folks who make it all happen, and they get calls all day long, and the word that they give us every single day is yes. So thank you very much for what you do. I appreciate it.
Shake their hands?
Yes.
If you'll bring the line around. Okay.
Thank you again, pal.
Good to see you again. Thank you for, I always know you. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for what you do. Every bit of it. Thank you for all you do. Thank you. Thank you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you for all you do. Thank you so much for what you do.
Thank you for what you do.
Yeah, you got a job. You're the only lady in the bunch. Oh, well, that's okay. You're right here. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for what you do.
Tomorrow night and Thursday night work.
You guys are
Oh, it's an honor for us to have you. We appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much for what you
Thanks
do.
so much for what you do.
Thank you so much for what you do. Thank you so much. You all have an awesome job.
Thanks so much for what you do.
Thank you so much.
I like your
Good to
shorts.
see you. Thank you. That's wonderful. Good to see you guys.
Updated our logo, we now have a new lapel pin, so we're giving those to the persons that we're recognizing. And Dolores has about 90 people in facilities, and as I said, they are representative of that department.
Yes.
So she will be providing a lapel pin to each of those persons.
Good deal.
Okay. Our next recognition is our child nutrition department. And here they come. Hi, come on in. And while they're coming in, I'll give you a quote. This quote is from Euripides, and it reads, "When a man's stomach is full, it makes no difference whether he is rich or poor."
That's right.
Our child nutrition department. That was supposed to be serious.
I did not say a word.
Our child nutrition department knows this full well and takes great pride in filling stomachs with healthy, delicious meals that once again break down the barriers between people and achievement. Let me explain. If you were to visit a cafeteria during breakfast or lunchtime, you'd be hard-pressed to determine if one smiling face or talkative youngster comes from poverty or means. And when these youngsters are filled with sustenance, the playing field becomes more level because the nutrients they've eaten give them the energy they need to get through the school day.
That's right.
Barriers are broken in the lunchroom. So here to share and acknowledge her department is Director Dana Edwards. And I would like to say, I think she's brought Montreal. They are multi-talented because not only do they bring us child nutrition, but Montreal was our protagonist, if you will, in the JOCO 2020 video. So you might want his autograph. All right, Dana, if you'll share a little bit.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
We are very proud of our summer meal program increases this year under our supervision of Yadira Creech, one of our supervisors. We serve 9 sites during the summer from June to August, ranging from schools to daycares and community centers throughout Johnston County. Our total meals served were 29,669 meals. 2017 meals increased by 22%, serving an additional 5,222 meals just for this summer. Our warehouse staff, Montrell Windley and Jean Pilkington, deliver the summer meals to all the sites, as well as delivering all of our USDA foods to all of our schools. In 2016, we also increased our summer feeding program by 73%, and we received recognition as a summer nutrition champion through DPI with the Going the Distance in Innovation Medal and Certificate. We also participate in our Farm to School program through the Department of Agriculture and a DoD produce program. And I'm also a member of our Farm to School Advisory Council, so I can work alongside of other directors across the state to gauge produce needs across the county. Each year, we process thousands of applications for families that are in need, and so far this year, we have processed over 2,450 online applications, processed over 7,000 directly certified applications and paper applications completed by parents. All of these applications are processed by Glenda Andretti, our data processor, as well as help from other staff in our department. And we're also proud that we have 6 new managers that participated in the North Carolina Department of the Public Instruction Culinary Institute this summer, hosted at Cleveland High School. Currently, we have 11 managers and 3 supervisors that have completed this program and are serving our county as ambassadors to train other managers.
Very good.
Yes, today I have Glenda Andretti, our data processor, Yadira Creech, our supervisor, and Montrell Windley, our warehouse manager.
Thank you so much for what you're doing.
Thank you for all you do.
Hey, thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you for all you do. Good to see you.
So much for everything you do. Thank you so much. Hey, how you doing? Thank you.
Thank you for all you do.
Girl, I'm so proud of you.
I know you get
You
bossed
keep the good work.
around.
You got any bossing you around.
He just does what they say.
Thank you.
I like that flow. I like it coming this way. It's right-handed. They're not having to turn. I like that.
What Dana shared with me is that her staff actually numbers 222 when you include
Yeah.
the cafeteria managers. So she's going to be providing those lapel pins. I'd like to call Brian Vetrano back up for his Employee of the Month recognition. Brian. Yes, please.
As I speak, our employees of the month are making their way in, or will soon be. It's always my privilege to stand before you and recognize wonderful employees, and we have 2 that we'd like to recognize today. Mr. Toole, perfect timing. Mr. Bobby Toole serves as painting foreman at Facility Services. He was nominated by his supervisor, Ms. Gill. Ms. Gill had a lot of wonderful things to say about you, Mr. Toole. I'll read a few of those. She said, Mr. Toole has embraced the tenets of JOCO 2020 in an outstanding way. During the summer, he has taken on custom painting to assist Cooper Academy. He has gone above and beyond in so many other locations. He understands how he is part of the vision, creating clean and inviting spaces for students. He is a great communicator with the staff at the schools he serves, and he has a unique way of bonding with the staff and administration. He exemplifies leadership to his team and build successful relationships with those he serves. We're glad you're with us today, and we certainly appreciate what you do, and congratulations for being our Classified Employee of the Month.
Cooper looks great. Great job.
Thanks for your dedication. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Cooper looks amazing.
He got on white pants and white shirt.
So I shared with you yesterday we'd have a few more goodies for you. So here's a letter, a certificate, a gift card, and a keychain. All right, thank you.
Come on back up here.
Come back up here. Come back and get a picture.
Come, you ready to hide him? Man.
Just do what she tells you to do.
You're terrible.
Our Certified Employee of the Month is Miss Lauren Horn. Ms. Horn, great to see you again. Ms. Horn serves as a fourth grade teacher at McGee's Crossroads Elementary. She was nominated by 2 employees at her school, one being her principal, one being a colleague. They had a lot to say, 2 pages worth. There's no way I can read all that, but I will share a little bit with the board. Your principal had to share that you serve as the school improvement team chair. She said you helped her move the school leadership team to develop a shared vision. Lauren brought a huge part of the shared vision to fruition by coordinating photo backdrops that each had the school's new hashtag and slogan on each hallway to welcome the families and to use at orientation on the first day of school. Ms. Turner said in a priceless way, she has helped me transition as principal to McGee's, her transition to be more successful. Your colleague shared that she has had the pleasure of working with Lauren for the past 3 years, but it wasn't until she had my son last year, that she really blew me away. My son has always struggled with reading, but through her innovative teaching style and her carefully constructed relationship that she took the time to build with him, a self-confident young man emerged who is now on grade level in all areas of reading.
Wow.
Lauren persevered, and her passion for teaching never wavered. She is a true leader, true teacher leader, and is the perfect model for JOCO 2020. We certainly appreciate all that you do. Ms. Horn, we congratulate you for being Johnston County's Certified Employee of the Month.
Thank you for all you do. We're so proud of you.
Thank you so much for what you do. We appreciate you. We really do.
You're fine. She's so sweet.
We appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for what you do.
Thank you. And again, Ms. Horn, as I shared with Mr. Toole, I shared with you yesterday, you'll receive a few goodies today, a certificate, gift card, a keychain, and a letter. That goes in the file. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. Our next board meeting will be October the 10th at 4 p.m. Normally it's at 2 p.m., but we have a board retreat that day, and it's an open meeting, so I encourage you to show up if you can, if you want to be excited about what's going on in Johnston County Schools now and in the future. Be a good meeting to come to, but our board meeting will start at 4 p.m. Dr. Renfro.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I would ask that we enter into executive session for the purpose of consulting with the board attorney and to discuss personnel items in accordance to North Carolina General Statutes 115C-319 and 143.318.11, subsections A1 and A3.
I entertain a motion. Motion by Butler Hall, second by Ronald Johnson. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you for coming to your Johnston County Board of Education meeting.